This truly is groundbreaking stuff, moving between real and virtual racing.
It is time for season 2023 to get underway. Welcome to Montreal in eastern Canada, a city with a very long history in supporting triathlon, and to one of the most original, the most intriguing, and the most brutal race formats you will ever see. This is triathlon, sure, but not as you know it. The best in the short course racing world have gathered in the snow. The 2023 Arena Games Triathlon World Championship season is here, and this is how it all works.
Here we go again, Arena Games time. 3 stages, short, sharp and really hard. Stage 1, 200 metres in the pool, followed by a 4K bike and a 1K run, both on Zwift. More virtual, equally painful. And with no drafting, just to test that pure athletic capacity. Quick break, compose yourself and go again, backwards. Another run on the self-powered treadmill, another ride on the Tax Turbo trainer, and then get back in the pool. Final stage, back to swim, bike, run, but with a pursuit start, paying back time lost to the leader. First across the line, they take the win.
It sounds easy, but it is anything but easy. Everything here at Arena Games Triathlon happens quickly, and that is why we are about to get right into it. Our top 10 females from the heats are about to head out onto the floor, starting with Dominika Pezleg, who finished 12th in Singapore last year, second at the Aquathlon Under-23 World Champs in 2022. She moves up to the elite level, and she will start in the outside lane of the pool. Dominika Jamnicki, the Canadian, gets a big cheer, finished 13th in the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, and 14th back in the Gold Coast as well, one of the more experienced athletes. There is Julia Kekkonen from Finland, who is the Olympic and sprint distance national championship title winner, won them both back-to-back within 5 days last year, if you can believe that. Susanna Michalikova, who has won the Junior European and World Silver Medal in winter triathlon. She's in the right place. It's minus 17 outside right now, so she will be happy. It's quite warm here in the pool, though. Naomi Bolio, who, again, one of the locals, as you can hear, one of the sport's most exciting rising stars, just 18 years of age, last year's national sprint champion, is just starting to win her first elite races. Natalia Kolosova, 7th place in the Canadian National Champs in 2022, originally from the Ukraine, but moved to Canada 7 years ago. And there is Sarah Roll. Followers of Super League Triathlon will recognise her, part of Tim Don's Eagles in the championship season last year. She was second in both her heat stages behind Gina Serino. And there is Marta Kropko, 3rd fastest in the heats. This is what she had to say about how tough it is.
Probably the reverse triathlon. The first part, like run and bike, because my strength is swimming and it's at the back. So I really have to push fast and hard on the swimming to get back in the race.
She was 3rd quickest, but everyone was well behind. Sophie Lynn and Gina Serino, the Australian 27-year-old, had a big 2022, and she will start this one with a bang too.
It's just going to be go hard from the gun. No letting up in round 1 and 2. I think that, yeah, you've got to get as much advantage on the swim and the bike, because there's a lot of strong runners out here today, especially Gina Serino. So, yeah, looking to really smash those first 2 legs of each round.
Lynn was 2nd quickest in the heats, but the quickest overall, the 27-year-old former University of Michigan runner, Gina Serino, and they will be all chasing her in her incredible run.
In the format like this, it's really just tough and you have to be consistent. I'm kind of worried about the 2nd stage going into the swim at the end. Sophie Lynn's really strong in the water, and so she's one to look out for.
They are your 10 women contesting this final, the first of 3 rounds of Arena Games Triathlon before we head to Switzerland, and then the final in London. A chance for these women to book a spot in the final. Let's do it here in Montreal. Nice even start. My name is Will McCloy. Alongside me in this one, multiple world champion Tim Don in the commentary box, and a good fast start and a big crowd here, Tim.
Absolutely. I think the swim's going to be crucial here for the first race. I think the middle 2 lanes are going to try and distance themselves from Gina because she is running so well at the moment.
Sophie Lynn was absolutely outstanding in the heats, and she is in the middle of the pool in the green, the Australian. Sereno alongside her as well, and I think a lot of people are tipping a head-to-head battle as Lynn makes the turn first up, but Kolosova quickest of all in a 31.05, so the pace really on compared to where they were in the heats, because they were swimming around a 2:30.
Yeah, I think they definitely were conservative in the heats, and they were saving something for this race, and I think we're going to see quicker times, and they're just not going to drop any disciplines at all.
Already a big spread across the field here as they turn for the second time. This will be the 100-metre mark. Of course, the first stage is a swim, bike, run, and then we go with a run, bike and finish with the swim off a 2-minute gap, and then they finish a pursuit start in stage 3, swim, bike, run once again. And it's about going hard but not blowing the doors off. You've done this before, Tim. I mean, and everybody said this morning the first stage was the hardest, and then you could get into it a little bit, but going hard straight off the bell, very difficult.
Yeah, and I think they'd definitely be pacing themselves. There's 3 races, while in the heats there are only 2. And then the mix-up of the order as well, that really throws a spanner in the works from what they're used to. But yeah, the spread is actually a lot bigger than I would have thought and what I was expecting for the final. So it'll be interesting to see if they have gone too hard in this first race. But Gina's looking like she's having a great swim. She's really just tagging on to the back of Sophie.
That's true. Kolosova out the front in the purple. Oh, sorry, that's Kropko out the front. And Michalikova in second. Lynn in the green. Sereno in the red. Sarah Roll, Mexico. She rounds out the top 5, but 15 seconds across them. And already Naomi Berlioz and Julia Kekkonen and Dominika Jamnicki are right in the danger zone as they head out of the water. And it's Kropko first, and a big cheer as she makes her way onto the bike for 4 kilometres as we make our first foray into the world of Zwift. So they run around the pool deck, onto the bikes, and it's about starting in the right gear, getting a quick start and transitioning well.
Those top 4 are only 7 seconds spreading them. The draft is turned off this year in Crit City, but they'll definitely be eyeing each other up in that virtual world and using each other to catch up and having those carrots in front of them.
Difficult transition there from Lynn, or she takes the time to get up to speed, then strap her feet in. And it can be lost in these transitions. We've seen over 20 previous Arena Games races that the fastest in transition goes on to win that race, which is absolutely incredible, as Lynn tops 5 watts a kilo. Sereno as well, 5 watts a kilo, but she's 12 seconds back.
That's exactly what Lynn did in the heats. She put the power down early. I mean, 5 watts a kilo. She's moving through. She probably hasn't even got her shoes done up, but she knows it's so important to distance herself from the other girls because, as she said, there are some really fast runners in here.
All of these women are around 40 kilometres an hour right now, and I can see some of the heart rates on screen here. Everyone up around the 175 to 180 beats a minute, as it's Kropko and Lynn together. But of course there is no drafting in this, so Lynn sitting there behind Kropko getting no benefit whatsoever. It's pure athletic ability here at the Arena Games.
I think you get that psychological benefit. You feel like you're riding with someone, you're working together, and I definitely think, you know, this virtual world, this mesh of the pure brutality of riding indoors in this arena. But as you can see, Lynn is taking no prisoners. She's gone straight past her.
It is 2 laps of Crit City and twice up this cobblestone section, which is the only real rise of any note. There are some rollers at the back end of the course, but they are usually up in the saddle through this bit and pushing big watts as Kropko goes past Lynn and is pushing, as we say there, 5 watts a kilogram, which is very serious watts for anyone who's used to riding on Zwift. And there is Lynn, top left of your screen, Kropko, and then Michalikova, and all the stats too. So look at that 480 watts from Michalikova. She's on the cobblestones right now.
You can see there's a gap to a group of about 4 of them which are together, and I think they'll be working together as, you know, using each other to pace off each other psychologically, but it does look like these 2 have definitely got the jump 7 to 10 seconds ahead of everyone already.
All right, those 2, they head into the rollers through the virtual park in Crit City. Same crowd in we see every time I go past there in Crit City. Actually, exactly the same number of people. But there's a big crowd here.
It's always good weather as well. Not quite like Montreal.
No, not exactly like Montreal. Plenty of blue sky here in Crit City, and it is Sophie Lynn now who leads by the slimmest of margins.
See their heart rates up in the high 170s, low 180s. These women are really pushing hard off the back of those rollers. It really slows you down, so you need to get out of the saddle and push up. They'll be looking at conserving as well, so they won't want to be taking this first race.
Gina Serino, who was the fastest in the heats, she started off this bike 12 seconds in arrears to Lynn. She is now 8 seconds, so after the one lap, she is closing down with 1,800 metres to go in the first stage bike leg. But Lynn finished 5th in the 2022 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. Great result for her. Maintains the lead, 180 beats a minute. Kropko, who was very good actually in the heats as well, is sitting right there. And Serino from Metallikova. Jamnicki, the Canadian. Sarah Roll, 10 seconds back. Kolosova, Pesleg, Kekkonen, and Berlio, who's now 21 seconds in arrears. That is your top 10. Split screen showing the pain on the faces, but it's not too painful just yet. There's a long way to go in this race, Tim.
Oh, there is, and they, I think they should be taking on fluid at this stage because it is hot in here and it's very dry with all the chlorine in the air as well. But you can see it looks like Gina is up here. I think 5:50 was one of the fastest bike times this morning, so it'll be interesting to see if they were biding their time and saving some energy. I mean, 4.7 watts a kilo as well, so I think the definitely watts per kilo are up this afternoon.
Look out for the big runs of Sophie Lynn and Gina Serino. That's where they gap the field in the heats as Lynn, the Australian, goes up the cobblestones for the last time in this stage. And you can see the yellow numbers top right of screen every time they go over 5 watts a kilo. Lynn goes up to 6.7 momentarily. It's almost cruel how the avatar looks so relaxed at all times.
Don't you look like that when you're riding?
Not even a little bit. 22.5 seconds across the field at this point, and there is really nowhere to hide in this one. That is why Lynn, who is now in the lead by 1 second, is keeping the hammer down until pushing the mid 200 watts as she heads into the rollers in the park for the last time. She'll cross and then hop off the bike and onto the self-powered treadmill.
I think the transition here is going to be important to keep that lead the same. You don't want to lose any time. As we were saying, 15 of the last winners, the transitions have been crucial. And even in these early stages, it's important not to lose absolutely anything.
Making the U-turn for the second time, up in the pedals out of that corner, and Lynn will cross the line in just a second and she will hop off and transition. Serino was a great transitioner this morning in the heats in her Arena Games debut, and there goes Lynn off the bike. And she is followed in short order by Kropko. Big cheer from the crowd as they head onto the air runner. Serino joins them as well. Off the bike comes Sarah Roll. And this is where it can come unstuck. Getting the shoes on.
It's that first push on the treadmill. You can see she's leaning forward. She's trying to get her cadence up, really leaning in, looking where everyone else is. There goes Sarah again. Everyone is getting close here.
You've been on these treadmills, you were testing them all out yesterday. How different is it to running on a normal treadmill, but also running just outside?
Oh, massively different. I mean, yeah, you really need to get your body position right, and you need to get the lean. You actually need a slightly different running gait to get the most of it, but it can run away from you, and then you go too fast, and then as you slow down, you really slow down. So it's really important to pace yourself, but definitely look where your feet are planted.
Fantastic looking runner is Serino, and in fact they both ran track, Serino and Lynn, at the University of Michigan, so they've known each other, they've competed against each other for quite a long time. They both live in Boulder, Colorado, and they are head-to-head once again.
See Gina, she's moved up into second and she's closed that gap 18 kilometers an hour compared to Lynn's 16.2. So she's really making the most of this.
Looks like a Sunday job there, doesn't it?
They do look.
Yeah, we need to figure that out. Need to make them look like they're hurting a little bit more. And there is your top three. Kropko, who's 3 seconds ahead now of Michalikova. Jamnicki rounding out the top 5, and then a big gap back to Roll, who needs a big run if she's going to stay in touch. And Serino is about to overtake Lynn for the lead here in stage 1, and she does so. A cheer from the crowd are enjoying this work from the American.
You can see Lynn hasn't responded. She knows she's got 2 more races to go, and she's got to finish this strong. The fact that they'll be running again as well, so it's almost a 2 kilometer run here with a small rest. You can see there Gina on the left in the middle. Her arm carriage and cadence look really smooth and high. She looks very controlled.
It's a question in the heats of how much have these athletes left in the tank, and just boxing a little bit. Serino was so strong in her heat. She was 30 seconds ahead at the end of stage 1, and she eased it in. But how much did she ease it in? We're seeing that now. The quality of this run at nearly 18 kilometres an hour. So 1.5 Ks faster than Lynn, who is now being caught a little bit by Jamnicki, who has moved herself up into 3rd position from this group of 3. Jamnicki ahead of Kropko now. Michalikova just behind her, so 30-year-old Canadian Dominika Jamnicki.
At 3rd, 4th and 5th are within 3 seconds of each other, so they're behind each other, really pushing the last couple of 100 metres just to try and get that edge, because every second counts for that last race.
It does, and now it's nearly 6 seconds Serino ahead of Lynn, so first points in this mental battle between the American and the Australian goes to Gina Serino, the 27-year-old who, in her spare time, and both these women are incredibly accomplished. Serino works at NASA, and
oh wow, there's no problem in Houston today.
No, apparently not.
He's an engineer as well.
Yeah, an engineer, and works at NASA, making me feel a little bit stupid and unfit, hey?
You can see Lynn, she's picking the pace up. I think she's trying to limit her losses as little as possible. It's hovering around 8 seconds now. She seems to have found her rhythm there. They've nearly finished, 30 metres to go.
Big run, though, from Gina Serino to put 8 seconds after passing Lynn. In the last 400 metres, she's put 8 seconds in. Jamnicki has gapped now Kropko and Michalikova. And look at how much those times are blowing out.
So now
Volue 49 seconds back, and of course that 2 minutes starts when the first athlete crosses the line, the 2-minute break. So suddenly that time's not going to be very much for our athletes at the back, and it's going to get very difficult.
Now the women are going back to their bikes to make sure they're in the right gear. They'll be putting their elastics to keep their shoes horizontal with the ground so they can get in nice and quickly.
So Serino has the full 2 minutes. Lynn not too much behind her, needs to get ready for the next, now backwards triathlon, which is an entirely different situation, starting with the run.
We're just having a little discussion here about where the hat and goggles go. Gina, that was an incredible first round. You look really composed on the bike. Were you saving yourself for the run because you gained 8 seconds over Sophie Lynn?
No, I wasn't saving. I was just trying to push and get as close as possible. Sophie's a phenomenal runner, and I knew, I had to be close if I was going to outrun her.
Well, keep walking because we know you've got to set everything up. But you've raced the Arena Games before. How does this compare here in Montreal with the crowds?
Oh, this is amazing. The crowds are awesome. I'm not sure if they're here for us or for Lionel, but we're excited that everyone's here and just enjoying it.
And you've just got a little bit of organising here to go now, but what's your plan for the next 2 stages, Gina?
Just survive, honestly. This next one's going to be really hard with the swim at the end. You're so out of breath and you're hypoxic at that point. And going into a swim where there's less oxygen, it's really hard, so yeah.
Laid out, and it was a nice even start at the beginning, and Marta Kropko set the pace early on. She had a fantastic swim out of the water. She was the first one onto the bike, but it's a long stage and plenty can happen, as we saw at the back end. And as soon as you enter the virtual world of Zwift, it's an entirely different beast. Sophie Lynn And Marta Kropko shared the lead for quite a part of the first lap on the bike. But then as soon as they got onto the run, Lynn was first, Serino was second, and Serino was supreme, putting in about 8 seconds, passing her in the park and running away with it. Staying warm is Serino, and this time it is run, bike, swim, and that second swim, Tim, is really where we see things get out of hand as we have a look at the results. And Serino 8 seconds ahead of Jamniki. Michalikova and Kolosova still in it. Lynn, that is incorrect. I think that's the wrong way around.
Right, well, that looked fun. Let's make them do it again, but in reverse order. Run, bike, swim. Look for the runners to make time as they start fresh on the treadmill. Well, a bit fresh. It can't be won here, but it can definitely be lost. Every second counts for the Stage 3 pursuit start.
That's right. Run, then bike, then swim, and if Serino can have another one of those runs, she is going to be in the box seat, you would have to say.
She was 15 seconds quicker than anyone else on that run, so she really is in the driving seat here.
Also set the fastest bike times did Serino, and Lynn was actually in second. Roll is in sixth, as opposed to what we saw on the screen just before. They stay with their feet on the sides, and then they begin, and we are underway for stage 2 here in the women's. A 2-minute break, and Serino goes about her job once again. And Lynn will know she will need to hit back in this one. Stay with Serino, limit the damage, and hopefully get it back on that swim at the end of this stage.
I think that's the key. She won't want to lose another 12, 13 seconds here. She'll want to stay as close as possible, get on that bike together, and really, really try and stick with her, because in that swim, she needs a big swim, Lynn, to get those seconds that she lost in that first race.
Well, there is the pack, and Lynn is at the front, Serino behind her, and we pick up where we left off. The Aussie and the American head-to-head. Serino with 8 seconds in the back pocket for the pursuit start, and Lynn knowing she can't leak any more time than that.
I think here Gina knows she's running well, and the fact that she had such a good bike as well, she'd be pretty confident, and Lynn knows that she has to stay with her. You can see the two of them, they're really pulling away from everyone, running at 18 kilometers an hour.
So one of the stats we have here is athletic time versus transition time, because transition is so important in these races, and as we keep saying it, for 75% of all the Arena Games races that have been run have been won by that person who is fastest in transition. Perhaps that will not happen today, because Serino is 16 seconds athletically faster than everyone else. So if you add her swim, bike and run in stage 1, she was 16 seconds faster than Lynn. However, Lynn was the fastest in transition with a 1:13 overall, and Serino was a 1:21. So Lynn was 8 seconds faster in combined transitions, but Serino was 16 seconds faster athletically. So her transitions down pat, she should keep going away with this. However, as you get more tired, it gets more difficult to be precise.
It sounds simple, doesn't it? But I do think
I'm really good at explaining it, that's why.
But I mean, it sounds simple. You improve your transitions and you're going to go quicker.
It's not easy.
You can see here, Lynn's really limiting that loss at the moment. They're halfway through the run. Only lost 2 seconds, but they're pulling away from the rest of the field.
Now, see, 2 seconds though. 2 seconds is 10 seconds. And 10 seconds is too far in the last swim, bike,
I don't know where you learned that, but I think 2 seconds is 2 seconds.
But add that to the 8 seconds she already has, and suddenly we're looking at now 11 seconds in arrears. But the gap here is 3.4 at the moment. Jamniki, she was third in the stage prior. She is third again. And it's Kropko who is struggling this time around. She really gave it all early. She did that in her heat as well, and then faded a little bit. And this time she led for the first swim and bike, and she finds herself 13 seconds back through 870 metres. So she's burnt the matches.
I think also this is the toughest stage, to have a double run when it's not your strongest. You know, she probably knows that she's going to be at more of a deficit after this run, and she's waiting for that bike and then finishing with a swim. If swimming's not your strength, ending with it, it really, really can hurt you. And not many people train this way round as well, so I think that's going to be interesting just to see the swim times compared to the first race.
Serino off the self-powered treadmill and onto the bikes. We continue our backwards stage 2 here at Arena Games Triathlon Montreal, the first of 3 rounds of Arena Games over the next month, culminating in the finals in London, and these women are looking to book their spot to become an officially recognised world champion, as Beth Potter and Alex Yee did in 2022.
Gina had a great transition there. Not just the transition, as soon as she got her feet in, she went up to speed, she put the power down, and I think we're going to see a big bike from her.
In the first stage, Serino, and she looks composed.
She's opened up a 7-second lead, it looks like, approximately.
She had a 5:46 bike, Serino, in the first stage. Lynn was a 5:51, so she had 5 seconds extra in the tank. Jam Nikki had a 5:49, so she was a real mover, and you can see she has moved up into second place ahead of Lynn, who is not looking as composed. Looks like she's melting the screen with her gaze as Serino continues out front.
The move up. Sarah Rowe, she's moved into 4th place. But again, there's a whole pack of women behind her chasing her down. They really are coming together. You can see when the watts go up, they're hitting the rollers or they're going across the cobbles. It really, in Crit City, it really, really does make it harder.
Does this bring back memories from your Seoul Arena Games Triathlon experience? Well, how would you describe it?
Ice pick to the leg. It is such a blur. I mean, they do look composed on Zwift, and to be fair, they look composed in real life, but let me tell you, it is so painful. You don't know whether to think about the swim to go, or the bike you're doing, or the run you've just done.
It's horrible. I'll stay here. Thank you very much, as there are your 4 leading women. Sarah Roll moving into 4th position. Lynn in the green, the Australian. Dominika Jamnicki, the local hope, is second from top, and then Serino, the American, up the top, and she just knocked off a 3:01 from Gina Serino. Of course, it was a fresh run, so you would expect that. She had a 3:05 run for the 1K in the opening stage, even after the swim and the bike. So those numbers, we throw them out there, but to run 3-minute Ks is just an elite effort, let alone on a self-powered treadmill.
Oh, self-powered treadmills compared to a treadmill or outside, they're so much harder work. The conversion is definitely 5 or 6 seconds slower.
Record for men and women is a 2:37 on these things from Alex Yee. He's probably the fastest runner in triathlon last year in Singapore.
allègrement comme l'américaine. Mais là, attention, en 2e place, on a une canadienne et de toute façon.
And Serino at 177 beats a minute, nearly 300 watts, is about to complete her first of 2 laps here in the second stage. So we are officially at the halfway mark of the women's race here at Arena Games Triathlon Montreal, and the first shots have been fired in this month-long championship series, and they have been fired by Serino, who is now 14 seconds clear of Lynn and 8.7 clear of Jamnicki. But when you add that to the distances from stage 1, she is well in the box seat. Because Lynn was 8 seconds back, add that to the 15, and she's well behind. Jamnicki was a little bit further back in stage 1, and she's now 9 seconds back. So Serino, her partner Chase McQueen, who's about to take part in the men's race, will be enjoying this. Maybe they can take back-to-back victories, the pair of them.
That would be a nice flight back to,
wouldn't it,
to the Mile High City.
You'd think, you know what? We're going to upgrade. We're going premium economy on the way home.
No middle seat for me. It's interesting. It looks like Sophia Lynn, her cadence is always over 100. She's really revving it, while Gina's, you know, down at 90, or she's just gone up to 95, because I've said that.
That always happens.
But I think Gina looks really controlled. I think she's watching the time, not her power. She knows that she's got, as you said, from the first race, she's got more than a handful of seconds in the bag, and then she's just got to get off this bike, get a hat on, and have a solid swim. No heroes in the swim.
Serino goes up the hill on the cobblestones and out of the saddle. Jamnicki the same. Lynn's about to hit the cobblestones as well, so she'll probably pop up out of the saddle for that little rise also. But the gap's now starting to open up, and you're right, there's a certain calm that comes with being able to keep everyone at a distance. We usually see Jess Learmonth doing it, but she doesn't look anything like Gina Serino. She looks like she is in the hole at all times, no matter how far ahead she is.
She has an amazing, Jess has an amazing paint face.
Yeah,
she
it's
really
great.
does.
It's absolutely, it's beautiful. It's my screensaver on my computer.
Oh, well, we've got the 60
Really not.
Very comfortable, but still pushing very hard, and you can do that. And you can imagine how much
10 seconds now, Serino. She heads through the rollers, 500 metres to go in the bike stage here in Montreal for stage 2. And then it'll be the swim, and we saw Serino, she's worried, and a lot of the athletes, they worry about the second stage swim.
They do, and you can see here now in Gina's face, this is the first time where I've actually seen her really hurting. I think she knows she's got 200 metres to go on the bike, and then it's the swim. The swim's crucial for her. She really needs to maintain this gap. She doesn't want to lose more than 5 seconds.
And how is it really putting all the blood in your body into your legs and running around and diving into it?
Oh, it's like horrible. It's like you've got a bear on your back. It's awful.
A cheer from the crowd as Serino makes the turn on the black carpet, finds her gear, and even doing this part of the transition is a skill.
Yep, and they don't practice it because they never go this way round. But she's going to get clear water, and the great thing about swimming in the pool is every tumble turn she'll breathe bilateral. That means left and right, so she can see where her competitors are.
She took time there though.
But she had to get those. She had to get that hair in. It's worth an extra few seconds there to get the hair in. Otherwise, there's going to be some drag. We don't want aqua drag.
No. You know, if she was that committed enough, she would have shaved her head for the race.
Yeah, I don't think Chase or Gina would agree with
No,
you.
that's fine. I mean, it's just the level of commitment. I'm just questioning it. So some athletes still transitioning, heading into the water. Kekkonen into the water now. Tesleg finding the going tough, as is Michalikova, who was strong early, and she's not in the water yet either. So in the middle of your screen, though, heading back the other way, Serino is in charge still.
You see Serino's not really gone to the legs, as we say. She's not kicking as much because they will be tired, and she knows she's still got to... I think she's actually swimming very, very well. I think she's obviously got great endurance, great base, and dropping down from altitude as well. She will be loving this oxygen.
Into the third 50 for Serino, and starting to get a little bit of feeling back in the legs. Lynn is in a good fight for second with Jamnicki, who is in lane number 1. Lynn lane 6. And there's only 2 seconds between the pair of them, and then there's a long way back to Sarah Roll, who now makes the turn.
Lane 1's a tough lane. So you're right on your own, especially with the fast people in the middle of the pool. So she's doing great out there.
Kropko turns, 37 seconds in arrears, so there's going to be some big gaps for the pursuit start. And what a feeling. I mean, you don't know the feeling, but imagine the feeling of just knowing you had 40 seconds at the back, just going for a swim by yourself at the start of stage 3. It tends to happen.
What do you mean I don't know the feeling?
I mean, you weren't in the front, you were in the back.
I wasn't that far behind, but no, it would be a beautiful feeling. It really would be. And again, she's in the driving seat. She's created this opportunity. And again, as soon as she gets out, she'll be straight to her bike, getting everything ready for the next race.
She hasn't eased off either. And Serino touches the wall, end of stage 2, looks around, sees no one. And the 2-minute clock starts ticking for the rest of the field. So take a deep breath, Gina, and get ready for the last swim, bike and run. You have one hand on this.
Lynn had a great second half of the swim. She really pulled it out and she's closed the gap. So everything to play for.
So add that 8 seconds to the 12 seconds and Gina Serino will have 20 seconds. Great swim, you're right, by Lynn, who overtook Jem Nicki on that swim. Sarah Roll sucking in the big ones. So $5,000 in the back pocket of Gina Serino if she can do the job. It's coming up very soon.
Sophie, I think it's safe to say this is unlike anything you've ever raced before.
Never like this.
You're looking a little bit hot. You have done from word go, but you've worked your way back into this race, having lost a little bit of time on the bike.
Yeah, that wasn't my best showing, but, you know, new round, new day, time to empty the tank.
You lost a little bit of time. How are you going to make that back? You know Gina so well. You raced together at university. How are you going to pull it back on her?
I think that you just got to smash the swim and try and make up as much ground as I can before that run comes around again, because we know it's lethal for Gina.
What's it like? How intense is it here with all this crowd?
Very. The crowd is awesome though, thanks guys.
Yeah, they're keeping you motivated.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
Okay, I'm going to let you go and get warmed up. Absolutely amazing. She's got it all to play for, Sophie Lynn, she really has. But I don't think the game's over yet. Dominica, you're really showing us how it's done on home soil.
I'm surprising myself, to be honest. I had a rough morning, so I'm just like rallying and going for this one. I'm having a really good time, and I think that makes a difference. So really looking forward to the last round.
I'm going to come with you. Well, we're going to follow the Canadian here. She's got the home crowd behind her. Of course, the athletes have got to do all the setting up in between the break. They don't have a whole lot of time. Just talk us through, what is it like to race the Arena Games? Give us one short sentence.
Exhilarating. It's unlike anything I've done before, and I hope to do more of these. They're really fun. So, yeah, I'm having a great time.
Good luck.
Let's have a look back at how stage 2 played out, and Gina Serino picked up where she left off, overtaking Sophie Lynn again on the run. And then for Lynn, it was all about damage control. Serino, the first off, good transition, heading back out onto the bike. And we see it time and time again. If you're in the lead, it just gives you that chance to take an extra beat, make sure that slow transitions is not something that's part of your repertoire. You just take an extra minute to make sure that there is no mistakes. And she was off the bike into the swim. And Sophie Lynn had a fantastic swim to limit it to a 12-second gap. But overall, it's going to end up being 21 seconds between Serino and Lynn. So Gina Serino with a very handy little lead. And then a minute 46 covering the entire field. Jem Nicki 34 seconds back. Sarah Roll 59 seconds. So there's going to be some lonely swims out there, isn't there, Tim?
Oh, certainly is. I think Sophie, as she said in that interview, she needs to have a red-hot swim to really, really close that distance to Gina.
All right, could this title go to the US? That is the question. Stage 3 is about to get underway.
Look at them, they look gassed. Just like we hoped. One stage to go where all the hard work pays off. A pursuit start where time lost to the leader is paid for. From there, first across the line wins and takes the first step to becoming the 2023 Arena Games World Champion.
Here we go, the business end of the women's racing here at Arena Games Triathlon, Montreal. There's a fair few hands on hips up there because it has been a very, very tough 2 stages of racing. Gina Serino in the red will start on the bell. 21 seconds later, Sophie Lynn will hit the water. At 34 seconds, Dominica Jem Nicki. 59 seconds, Sarah Roll. Marta Kropko will start 1:04 back. Susanna Michalikova 1:19. Julie Kekkonen 1:32. Natalia Kolosova 1:41. Dominika Pezleg 1:46. And Naomi Beaulieu will start 2 minutes and 5 seconds after Gina Serino. So Serino has it all to play for, and everyone else will be fighting for placings. And it is time to kick things off. Into the water goes Serino. So another swim for her, this time off a 2 minute break. And let's not forget that the break was less for the rest of these women as the clock started ticking.
That'll feel like the longest 21 seconds that Sophie's had since she's been here in Canada. She'll be wanting to go, and there she goes. Very nice streamlined dive. We've got to have a big swim. She's gone straight to the legs here.
Smart enough to start running off the run up about a second and a half early, so she hit the water at the 21. And then into the water in lane 1 goes Dominika Jamnicki. How good to see her having such a good time.
As she said, she had a tough morning, but she got through the heats, and you know, once you're in the open, and definitely she's gaining confidence as she's racing. So it's great to see her in a dominant 3rd position on the podium so far.
Yeah, it was a real fight between 3rd, 4th and 5th, but Jamnicki found it in stage 2. The moving stage as Sarah Roll dives into the water.
The fatigue's really hitting there.
Yeah, the dives aren't what they could be, I think. So Lynn, 19 seconds back, so she's made a couple of seconds up in the first 100 or so. Actually, that was just in the first 50 alone. And she's still on her second 50. Serino is on her 3rd 50, and you can see her in the middle of your shot there. And on the right is Lynn about to make the turn at the 100-metre mark. 18 seconds it is now. But Serino will know she's got that run in the back pocket, and a big bike can see her run away with this one. Jamnicki makes the turn now at the 100-metre mark, as Serino is making her way home. Last swim of the day.
She's done that last 50 metres. She'll already be thinking about getting on the bike. She'd have known she's roughly maintained that. When they crossed each other, she'd have seen where Lynn was, and she'd be really happy with that, knowing that her 2 strongest disciplines are ahead of her. She really has a balanced race, hasn't she? I think her transitions in the first race weren't smooth, and we saw her struggle getting those plats in, which you suggested she cut off.
It's too late now.
Had scissors in there.
Out of the water goes Serino, and she'll be happy to see the back of the Olympic pool here in Montreal. Now she gets back into her element, which is for sure the bike and the run. Not that her swims have been bad at all, but she has been very strong.
She looked good then. She was running with a bit of a spring in her step. Again, her feet are straight in. She's not worried about the elastics. She just wants to get up to speed, and here comes Lynn. She looks a little bit tired here. Cadence looks chopped. She needs to get on that bike. Don't worry about getting those feet in the shoes. In straight away.
That was smooth from Sophie Lynn.
Like butter. Again, she's right up to cadence. She really, really is.
So there is the 2 women we have been looking at throughout. Jamnicki out of the pool. You can tell by the cheers here, 1,000-strong crowd here, filling up the stadium. It's hard to see on the television, but there's plenty of people in the stands on the opposite side of the pool who are enjoying this. They'll be seeing a real battle in the men's coming up to straight after this, as out of the water goes Kropko and Roll. Jamnicki putting in the hard yards as well. 3.5 Ks to go. Serino, well, Lynn has already taken 3 seconds out of Serino, because her transitions, Serino, haven't been on point, but her athletic time has been excellent.
Is it going to live up to the reputation? Is it going to be 16 out of the 20? Is Lynn going to pull it back?
Serino all by herself, making the turns around the back end of this Crit City course. She's going to hit the cobblestones in just a second. As the last of our athletes still in the pool, as Serino goes up the cobblestones. Pesleg out of the pool now.
Serino's out the saddle. She's really working hard. Right on that 5 watts per kilo, 4.9. Lynn's down at 4.3. So when she hits the cobbles, it will increase. It's just the nature. Again, out the saddle, really, really pushing. can see their focus. They're just looking at the screen. There goes Lynn out the saddle. She's really doing that dig. Show that cadence, 104 revs a minute. That is super, super high. Those heart rates in the high 170s.
16 seconds the gap. All our athletes out of the pool now. Naomi Beaulieu was the last. Big cheer from the crowd for the 18-year-old who has a big future in triathlon in front of her, but she's finding the going tough today with these women who are incredibly strong.
At 18 and racing in this arena with these women, I mean, we've got Commonwealth bronze medalist in the team relay and 5th individual. She's just got gaining a wealth of experience here.
Absolutely right. It's thrilled to be racing in front of the home crowd. Through the rollers go Serino, and she's holding it at about 16.5 seconds, and Jamnicki all by herself at 38 seconds, and the gap's getting longer and longer in the second half of our field.
This is where the endurance really kicks in. I think the fun of the heats and the first 2 rounds are out your mind, and you just want to get to the end of that bike. They've got 2 kilometers to go. That's another lap of Crit City, and then they'll be hitting that treadmill for the last time, and the legs will be heavy. They really, really will be hurting.
Triathlon, what a sport, eh? Can't wait for it to start. Can't wait for it to finish.
That's the best way.
Very strong power numbers from Gina Serino. 4.8 watts a kilo in the first stage, 4.5 in the second stage. She's well over 4 in this stage as well. And she certainly has the conditioning. There's no doubt about it. There she is. "17 seconds. Serino holding strong over Sophie Lynn. You have a great 2022 like Lynn has had, and then to start it with this kind of pain in 2023 really gets things rolling quickly.
It does, and you know, the first race of the season, you normally pick an easy race, you know, a soft field, but they've come here and this is, they're not messing around. I mean, you know, as you said, running 3 minutes a K on these treadmills, 3:01 for Serena, 4.8 watts a kilogram. Doing all these transitions as well, it just sets them up for a really, really good season. And again, these are points, valuable points here that they're going to be earning towards the world title.
Yeah, the points come in to the association with World Triathlon, and of course making this an official World Championship event, and one that is sought after, because who wouldn't want to put their names alongside Alex Shee and Beth Potter as the second World Champions of Arena Games Triathlon. Big future in esports and a big future in this format as well. It is continually refined, and Gina Serino is showing us exactly how to go about it. Holding Lynn now 18 seconds plus, and even though Lynn's putting down yellow numbers, she's not making a dent, and Serino has been supreme on the treadmill. You can't see her unless there's a serious issue in transition being run down from here.
I think Lynn will definitely try. I mean, she's got absolutely nothing to lose, and you can see she looks relatively calm and collected there. She's just focusing on that screen, looking at her numbers. She's counted down from that 500 meters to go. She knows as soon as that's down to 0, she needs to jump off and really move quickly. It's not over yet. 18 seconds. If you have a bad transition, there's 4 or 5 seconds there, and then 10 seconds you can get hungry. And if Lynn, we know she's got the run pedigree, she just hasn't brought it to the first 2 rounds today.
And it's not over till it's over, and Jamnicki sitting pretty still all by herself in 3rd position, hoping for a podium for Canada at home as Serino rolls the last couple of 100 metres. And when she goes under the banner, that will be it, and she is off. You see the screen change, and she heads onto the treadmill for the final time. She hasn't been super clean with the shoes. Let's see how she goes this time. If she can do a decent job, she can run it home, and she has done that. 2 or 3 steps. They're allowed to hold on to the barrier there, or the railing, for 3 seconds maximum. She uses that to get up to speed, and she looks as strong as she ever has.
Straight in her rhythm. She looks great there. And here we go. Another clean transition here. Again, holding on, really pushing. You can see those arms getting up to speed. And yeah, here we go.
900 metres between Gina Serino and a win and $5,000 and maximum points. Also a shot at the London final as Jamnicki heads on to her treadmill.
What a race from Jamnicki here.
I absolutely agree. She is more surprised than anyone, I suppose. Is Jamnicki saying that she didn't feel that good? She has plenty of experience, like 30 years of age, and she actually finished 36 seconds back on Serino in her heat times. So,
but then you wonder, maybe she just had to get a top 4 to qualify, and she knew as she was comfortably in that, as you said, that experience could have really played into her hands there. But we thought it was going to be a 2-horse race, but definitely she's really chasing hard here.
Yeah, she certainly hasn't taken her foot off the gas, even though she's got quite a gap back to Sierra Roll and Topco. Jamnicki, of course, twice at Commonwealth Games, top 15 finalist, finisher, sorry. She's raced WTS or WTCS now as well. And she's had wins in recent times also.
See Gina there, she's pulled out a handful of seconds out the bag. Again, running at 16.5 kilometres an hour, up the rollers and down in Crit City, reverse.
And of course there is the resistance, just like on the bike, there is in the run as well. Fantastic tool for training is Zwift, particularly if you live in minus 15 degrees conditions, as there are here. With 460 metres to go through the back end of the park, making the turn, and Gina Serino has put time in. She looks... There's been no real breakdown in her form of running.
I think we saw the first smile from Gina. I think she knows now, with only 300 metres to go, less than a lap of a running track, she is running quicker, 17 kilometres an hour. You wonder if Lynn knows that the race has gone and she's comfortably in second.
I think so.
Gina's still picking it up, 18.6 kilometres an hour. This will be probably one of the biggest wins of her career. To start the season afresh with a win like this is going to give her great confidence in her winter training and her whole training group behind her. And again, as you said, her partner's racing straight after this with Chase. So here.
That's exactly right, and she really sets a marker down for those who race in 2 weeks in Sursee in Switzerland, because, of course, unlike any other triathlon, these are exactly the same, so they know exactly what the splits are that are required, they know exactly what time it is. Can I beat Gina Serino? Can I beat Sophie Lynn when we get to London? Can I beat Dominika Jamnicki? It's exactly the same, and that is the beauty of having a World Series with perfect conditions every single time, and Gina Serino has made the most conditions, and she is about to cross the line and be crowned your champion. 60 metres to go now, and she has been supreme from start to finish. She dominated her heat, and she dominates here. She crosses the line. She is your winner. Congratulations to Gina Serino, the 27-year-old from Boulder, Colorado.
We see that smile. She is just sucking in all that oxygen that she can. That was a really well executed race, very balanced. I think her transitions in the first 2 races weren't that smooth, but the last race they definitely picked up.
Yes, she wins by a good 30 seconds, but athletic time she wins by over 40 seconds, so if she can work on those transitions, she'll be a real force when we get to the finals in a month's time. Lynn comes second, and she has given it all as well. Great battle between those two.
And as you said, the great thing about this is every race is identical wherever it is in the world, so they can look at all of this data and they can see where they can improve. And it's hard to improve on the swim, the bike and the run, but you can really nail those transitions. So she can go quicker in London.
Jamnicki comes in cross in 3rd position, and the crowd absolutely love that. She was too good for Sierra Roll and Marta Kropko, and Julia Kekkonen, who'll take 4th, 5th and 6th. Michalikova in 7th position at the moment from Kolosova, but Serino was too strong. Let's head down now to Annie Emerson.
Wow, congratulations. What an incredible victory here. You made it look comfortable in the end, though.
Thank you. Yeah, that's just a really grueling race. I think it's hard no matter what. Having so many people in the crowd behind you cheering really helps. So kudos to everyone for coming out. That was awesome.
I've got a question for you about the pool. How hard is it on the final swim to get out of the water?
Oh, I mean, you know probably from watching me crawl and like fumble. Yeah, your arms are lactic, and then to put them above your head where there's no oxygen, like that's hard. So, yeah.
You knew Sophie was going to be a tough competitor for you here today, but you just absolutely smashed it. Did you expect to finish with such an advantage over her?
I think having her in the race really pushes me. She's someone I'm used to competing with, and it's that familiarity and sense of like, oh, she's working hard, so I have to work hard too.
How happy are you to be the winner here in Montreal?
I'm so stoked. This is really special. Yeah, super happy.
Congratulations. We look forward to seeing you in London.
Thank you so much.
Oh, wow, Sophie. It looks tough out there for you today, but a very good second place finish.
Thanks very much. Yeah, it was definitely really rough to have that additional third round. But, you know, Gina had a great race and she totally deserved that win, so kudos to her on that.
Talk us through racing in the virtual world. What is it like racing in the virtual world? It's the first time you've done it.
It's definitely different. It's like just you against yourself. So, yeah, it's definitely really intense, and it's like as opposed to being distracted or focused on things around you. So it's definitely just like you out there, and like there's no hiding. So it's really awesome.
And final thoughts on the Arena Games. It's the first time for you to experience this. What are your final thoughts?
It's absolutely brutal, but the format is fantastic. The whole setup is fantastic. Super League does a phenomenal job setting this up, and the calibration of all the devices and things like that is just fantastic.
Wow, a third place finish here on home soil. That is going to feel pretty special, Dominika.
Yeah, I'm over the moon. I have no words. It's just like an exhilarating experience. I could feel the cheers of everyone. Like, I have goosebumps, tingles. It was just unreal. Really, really happy.
You said you felt pretty rotten after the heats, but you certainly came good in the end.
Yeah, I was a little worried and shocked after the heats this morning. I just snuck in on one of the qualifying times. I don't know if it was just things weren't clicking this morning, but I really turned it around this evening, so I'm really happy.
How much does it mean to you having this crowd here?
It means the world to me. My mom, my dad, my brother here, my partner. So to have them here watch me do well at this amazing event is surreal.
Thank you so much, and congratulations, Dominika.
A Canadian podium and an American victory as Sereno took it out with a pretty strong swim to start with, held Lynn at bay, probably gave away about 3 seconds, and then another 3 seconds or so in transition. But with her supreme athletic times, it did not matter in the end. Sereno with a fantastic bike once again. It stuck around 16, 17 seconds, and then Lynn at some point knew that she was never going to be able to run it down. Well, in the end, though, it was Sereno who was too strong, and you can just see the look on her face after finishing that one. It was a tough one indeed, with Lynn holding on for second, and Jamnicki a very popular finish in third, and Naomi Ballio the biggest cheer of the day for her finishing in 10th position. Not long now until we start with a men's battle in a deep field. Aurélien Raphael, the Frenchman, he has won Arena Games before. Can he do it again? He has plenty to work against. He's 34. Dan Dixon is 20 years of age. He goes at it only as hard as possible. And speaking of as hard as possible, Lionel Sanders gave away a lot of time in the swims, in the heats, but he got it all back and ended up overtaking Jack Stanton Stock right there. and giving himself an automatic qualifying position. Chase McQueen, the partner of Gina Serino, who has just won. He was very, very strong in his heat, and the only man who challenged him in heat 1 was Henry Schoeman, who continues an emotional return from nearly 2 years out with injury. Look at that smile though, Aurelian Raphael, he is in the box seats. So the final standings in the women's, Gina Serino, just as she did, winning by over 30 seconds in the heat. She does it again here, this time in her heat, but Serino's bike and run was too much. Dominika Jamnicki, who said herself that she was one of the fastest losers. She didn't even get an automatic qualifying spot into the final. She turns it on in the afternoon in front of her home crowd to finish on the podium from Sarah Roll, Marta Kropko, who was strong early but faded in the end, nearly 2 minutes back from Susanna Michalikova, Julia Kekkonen of Finland, and a couple of Canadians, Natalia Kolosova and Nomi Buliu, sandwiching Dominika Pesleg. Let's go down now to the podium. The medals to be handed out by the CEO of Triathlon Quebec, Marie-Eve Sullivan, and taking their places our top 3 women. My apologies, it's Joe Morissette, the CEO of Triathlon Canada, handing out the medals today.
Troisième place et remportant la médaille de bronze représentant le Canada. Third place and winner of the bronze.
Big cheer for Dominika Jamnicki in 3rd position as she takes her place on the podium. Enjoy themselves so much in a format that is designed to be probably not that enjoyable, Tim.
No, it's totally not. And to race on your home soil as well, you know, the first race of the season really gives you that confidence going up.
Sophie Lynn, as we said, coming off an excellent 2022 and Commonwealth Games bronze medal and 5th in the individual. She starts with a very strong day's outing after the heats this morning, and it cannot be underestimated how hard it is to come out, do 2 stages in the heats, qualify, cool down completely, wait 3 or 4 hours, and then turn it on again in the afternoon. And our winner overall, Gina Serino, 27 years of age, and she picks up a win to start the season. What a way to do it. There'll be plenty who will be slightly worried about that run if they're about to compete in Switzerland. And Montreal has been fantastic to us. We asked Jeremy Briand to show us around.
Bienvenue à Montréal. Welcome to Montreal. My name is Jeremy Briand, and I can't wait to show you around Montreal, my favorite city. All right, so we're here in downtown Montreal. Montreal, for me, it's a very important city. It's where I grew up. It's where I spend most of the year. It's where I went to university, and it's where I started doing triathlon. It's home for me. The Bell Center in Montreal, this is the temple of ice hockey. Ice hockey is the most important sport in Canada. We play hockey in the streets, and we dream that we are Guy Lafleur, Maurice Richard, or Jean Béliveau. So it's a very special place here. When you're hungry in Montreal, you have two choices. You have poutine and bagels, so let me show you my favorite place for bagels. People say that the best bagels in the world are from New York City, but it's not true. It's from Montreal, and the best place in Montreal is Fairmont Bagels. They've been making the bagels the good old way for over 100 years, so whenever you come to Montreal, go and have a try. We finished our journey at the Olympic Stadium. This is where we're competing, and as you see behind me, there are the Olympic rings. This is where the Olympic Games took place in 1976. And now let's get back inside for the men's race.
Nearly time for the men's race, and Briand was the record holder on the bike until a man called Lionel Sanders came in and set the fastest bike time ever in the heats, and Tim Don caught up with him earlier.
So Lionel, from doing 7 Ironman in 12 months to the Arena Games, this is different. Is this an arena for you?
I mean, I do view myself as an entertainer, of course. And when you put the entertainer in a venue of this sort, you have the desire, anyhow, to rise to the occasion. So, I mean, I'd say like 99% of people will count me for last place.
You really believe that?
Of course.
Really?
You've seen me swim.
Yeah, but I've seen you bike.
I've seen you bike.
I've seen you race on. I've seen you race on Zwift.
Sure.
You do your homework. I mean,
I know my stuff for sure. Like
and you
I don't
focus
think
on you, don't you?
I don't think I'm making it out when I say I feel like I have the most Zwift miles of anyone here. So both on the bike and the run. So I understand how the virtual world behaves. Unfortunately, the swim isn't virtual. It's real.
But it's a 50-meter pool. Not many tumble turns.
Me swimming really good is still, to Schoolman or a few of these other guys, could be 30 seconds down. And that's me swimming like really good.
But then once you hit dry land and you get your feet in your shoes, you get up to speed.
I'm confident I can get, I mean, if we did it back to back to back to back to back 5 times, I'd say I'd probably get, my best round would be the 5th round, right? Relative to the competition. Because I just don't produce energy quickly, right? You know all this stuff.
So at the end of the day, when you've done your swim, bike, run, you've made the final of competing in the Arena Games will be?
This has been an amazing experience, yeah.
So we could see you race in the Arena Games again.
If you guys have me back, I'll be back for sure.
We need a Master Series.
Yeah, correct.
Here we go again. Arena Games time. 3 stages, short, sharp, and really hard. Stage 1, 200 metres in the pool, followed by a 4K bike and a 1K run, both on Zwift. More virtual, equally painful. And with no drafting, just to test that pure athletic capacity. Quick break, compose yourself and go again, backwards. Another run on the self-powered treadmill, another ride on the Tax Turbo trainer, and then get back in the pool. Final stage, back to swim, bike, run, but with a pursuit start, paying back time lost to the leader. First across the line.
Well, it is as easy as all of that and also as difficult as all of that. The stage is set and we are about to get underway in the men's racing. It is time for the men's race here in Montreal, and it was an absolute excitement machine this morning in the heats. Lionel Sanders getting in just, and we're all very happy for that. It is time now to introduce the other 9 competitors who are looking to take it from him and from each other. And there is Matthias Beaulieu, another Canadian, another man with the same name, no relation though. Canadian national sprint champion at the elite level. And a great 2022 he did. And Jack Stanton-Stock is up next. He is a friend of Dan Dixon. They trained together. Along with Dan Dixon, actually, they went 18 hours on their 18th birthday on Zwift. And speaking of Zwift, the man himself comes out. Lionel Sanders, 4-time Ironman champion. 30-time Ironman 70.3 champion. And now in the final. Vitaly Vorontsov of the Ukraine, moving into the elites from under 23s for the first time. 2021 Ukrainian elite national champion, Chris Perham, the Brit. He's been there and done it with the Bahrain Victorious Scorpions last year. And there is Henry Schoeman, who has had a horror couple of years and is just happy to be back competing. The Olympic bronze medalist in Rio 2016. Finished second, of course, in the 2018 Super League Triathlon Championship Series. And speaking of the Championship Series, Chase McQueen from the US Midwest was part of it and finished 4th overall. There is Dixon, 13th in the 2022 Championship season as well. So plenty of SLT experience in the men's final.
all three of them are exceptional in the pool. But yeah, hopefully being a small guy, I can give it to them a bit. But yeah, I mean, tactic of the final is really just pushing all the way, but conserving a little bit of energy as we go through the rounds.
From the pocket rocket to the tallest man in the field is Aurélien Raphael. The Superfish holds the swim record. The Frenchman, he's an Arena Games winner before.
We're happy to go in the final this afternoon. So the first heat was very quickly, very aggressive. So second triathlon was more easy because I'm feeling good. So I'm really happy.
Finally, the big local hope, Jeremy Briand, a Montreal local, finished 8th in the Arena Games Triathlon London 2022.
Yeah, I think Henry Schumann, of course. Aurélien is always a good guy on this format, and Daniel and Chase, they did really well. But also, I'll be looking at the back for Lionel, who's always strong on the bike, and he can always come back.
Here we go, the men's race. Plenty have been waiting for this one, and into the water they go. Clean start, just as he did in the heat. Sanders a little bit off, and Raphael in the orange is powering down in the middle of the pool, along with McQueen in the yellow. Briand in the middle between them.
I think is today the day we're going to see that sub-2.
2:02 is the record. Raphael 2:03 in the heats. We've never seen sub 2 minutes for the 200 metres.
Turn in with a 27 with a dive, but there's also 4 athletes, the super swimmers, all within 100th of a second.
Sanders leaking 7 seconds in the first 50, and he could be he's probably aiming for around a 2:30, whereas these guys are going to swim 2 minutes. So we'll see if they turn under the 1 minute mark. Looks like they will. Raphael 58.63. We could be on here. McQueen.
I think Raphael, McQueen and Dan Dixon this morning, they definitely were in control on that last run, and they were saving vital energy. And I know they know they're going to get a big lead in Lionel, but I think they're not afraid of him, but they will be worried. They will want to be stretching him out as much as possible on this swim, and they really are going for it here.
So Raphael retains the lead, makes the turn at the 150 mark in a 1:31. McQueen right on him. Dixon having a great swim from Schumann 2 seconds back. Chris Perham, like he did in the heats, is having a fantastic day out as well. And they're all going to come out together, the top 5 in the middle.
When they come out, they are going to be shoulder to shoulder, so getting to your bike first, getting up to speed is going to be so important. They really, really need to work on that. You can see when they get to the pool, who pops up quick, hat and goggles in that basket and round to their bike. Here we go.
So a 2:03.96 for Raphael. McQueen right on him, and he's going to get, along with Schumann, to the bike first. First, they've got to go a little bit further as Raphael, we'll have to watch for his transitions. He has lost time in transition before. He needs to start well, and he does start well.
Dan Dixon lost a few seconds there in that last 50 metres, but he is a master of transitions. He'll be really looking.
And Sanders is coming out of the water to a big cheer now as well. Everyone else on their bikes already. But Lionel Sanders can ride a bike like nobody else.
This is not unfamiliar territory here for Lionel. He knows he's going to be in a deficit. He would get confidence from that bike ride he had in the second race this morning. He knows he needs to just go full gas, but he is taking his time there.
So Schumann is your leader at the moment by just a couple of tenths over McQueen. Both of them were in the same heat this morning, so they had a little bit longer to recover than the men in the second heat, about 45 minutes. Raphael, Dixon, Perham and Stanton Stock, so 3 Brits in 4th, 5th and 6th. And Lionel Sanders is 30 seconds in arrears. Look for that time to come down. over the course of this 4 kilometres, and he actually had the 3rd quickest run of the heats as well.
That is a good swim from Lionel, because 29 seconds down, that is a very similar time to this morning, so he's not dropping off that fatigue. As he said in his interview, he thinks back to back, he will get stronger, and we've got 2 more races, so it will be interesting. 6.6 watts a kilo he is pushing out.
Yeah, when he set that bike record this morning, it was in the 2nd stage, so he was quicker in the 2nd stage, and he said, yeah, 5 would be better. Now we have 3 stages, so how fast can he go against fatiguing athletes in the 3rd stage? That is the question. McQueen now, just as he did in the 1st heat, has overtaken Schoeman on the bike and put a 2nd into him. Raphael 1.6, Dixon also within 2 seconds. And Perham's all on his own now, 4.5 seconds back.
McQueen really had a good bike this morning. He's obviously been really working on his biking over the winter. And the best place to work on riding in Zwift is somewhere cold, and he's been in Boulder, Colorado. So without a doubt, he'd have had lots of snow day rides to improve his Zwift riding.
Beaulieu is keeping Sanders at bay at the back of the pack at the moment as they hit the yellow numbers going up the cobblestones. Already in the rollers, though, is McQueen as he heads through the park now, 3 seconds clear of Schoeman, who's dropped back behind Aurelian Raphael.
I think Raphael really needs to tag onto the back of McQueen, because Schumann and Dixon, they've definitely got a slightly quicker run in there. They're up in the bank. I think every time I look at Lionel, he's at 6 watts per kilo. He really is a machine on Zwift. And his heart rate, it's amazing to see how efficient he is. He really is an Ironman athlete. His heart rate is under 140 beats at the moment.
As opposed to Schoeman, who's doing 177, and Sanders is pushing 430 watts. That is a mammoth effort, and that is what he did this morning as well. McQueen's on over 400 watts too, because he's up in the saddle, but that's just Sanders sitting on the bike, doing what he does. And yeah, that heart rate is incredible, like the diesel engine who just keeps plugging away. So look for him to get better and better across the course of the 3 stages. Dixon now in 3rd position. He's overtaken Schoeman as well. And Perham rounding out the top 5. Stanton Stock was strong too, and he's sitting in 6th position. So Sanders has the little snakehead scenario going on, just like he does in real life.
But he's only put 3 seconds into McQueen, so he's not eating into that lead. McQueen is having a great race.
McQueen, though, I mean, he's eating into everyone else's times. He's just not eating into McQueen's times. So that's why he's still 27 seconds back. He's a lot closer now to the guys in front of him than he was before. But McQueen is having an immense bike. And he's now 6 seconds clear of Raphael. Sanders travelling right now at 48.7 kilometres an hour. Fastest of anyone out there at the moment. But to give that kind of gap away on a pursuit start for stage 3 is going to be very tough when they start with the swim again.
See, Dan Dixon has got a great pain face there. He really leaves it all out there. Raphael looks very smooth, calm and collective. He looks like he's saving something. We can see Dan Dixon there. Oh, look at that. He is in a whole world of pain.
I think there's a lot of people out there who can sympathise with the faces that Dan Dixon is making. They've been making those faces in garages and pain caves across the globe. That is exactly how people look when they know that there's no cameras on them.
I don't look like that.
Is that right?
I don't know about you.
Oh, no, I'm very Dixon-esque.
He is all over that bike. McQueen's having a great ride. He is just piling on the pressure on all those super swimmers at the front. 7 seconds now.
Has only got 1 foot in, so I don't know when he took it out. There's been plenty of people who've never put the feet in. Or whether he took it out just prior to that shot is a question, but the shoes go on, and the first run of the day, Dixon, Raphael, they'll join him on the self-powered treadmill.
You often know within the first 50, 60 metres of these treadmills how the legs are. Look at Dan Dixon leaning forward. That is superb.
Really good transition from Dan Dixon, and he's stolen a little march there on Raphael. And Sanders now The running style that can only be described as unique. Zev's resupplying.
And he's moved up a place as well, so he'll be really happy with that.
Runner 2:44 this morning for the 1K.
See his arm carriage, it's just not... See, there's Chase looking very smooth. He's looking at the numbers. He knows he can't panic. He's still holding Dixon 7 seconds and Henry at 7 seconds as well. He's right on the front of that treadmill, really driving that belt with his own body weight and his own cadence. That Lionel at 20 kilometers an hour, he is running pace for pace with McQueen, but he's still 26 seconds down in arrears.
Great run from Jack Stanton Stock, the young Brit who has gone past Daniel Dixon and Henry Schoeman. And Sanders, in case you're wondering, just parked a 5:11 at 5.8 watts a kilogram average, which will put him in the top. That's another top 5 time. So he's basically rewriting the leaderboard in terms of bike times here at Arena Games. He set the record this morning at a 5:06. His other stage was a 5:09. So he holds 2 of the top 3 ever. And Canada's a 1, 2, 3 because Jeremy Brown had the other fastest time of a 5:08 from last year.
But what's interesting is the second fastest bike today was Chase McQueen, and with that swim, that is dangerous for everyone else. 5:17 for Chase and a 5.6 watts per kilo, and he is looking good on the run.
Jack Stanton Stock, a guy who has come through the Brit Tri program to compete at elite youth level, junior level, under 23 level. He trains with Dan Dixon in America under Ryan Bolton. And I mentioned before that those 2 men on the right of your screen, Stock and Dixon, both 20 years of age. On their 18th birthday, they cycled 18 hours on Zwift to celebrate their 18th birthday, which is about the opposite of what I did to celebrate my 18th birthday.
I can't remember. I won't be...
You listened to the radio or whatever the entertainment was at the time.
But what's interesting is both Dan and Stanton, that they've been a higher altitude, then they dropped down to Tucson, Arizona, so they haven't flown particularly far. They haven't flown in from the UK, and they've been targeting this race. They really, really are racers.
Stan Stock now has had an absolutely mammoth run to run down McQueen.
He really is looking in control.
He really is. And he has come from nowhere on this run to finish the stage first. Thumbs up, looks very strong, and he's one of... McQueen looks around like, what happened there?
Okay, McQueen just now needs to focus. Look at that, the heart rate is still through the roof. They are not recovering straight away.
So McQueen with the right smile. Stanton Stock puts it all in to bank the time. Lionel Sanders hops off. He's 24 seconds back and had a pretty strong run, and he looks a little bit shell-shocked.
He's got 2 more rounds. He's just got to keep telling himself, I am getting stronger. Everyone's walking to their bikes now.
So a little shake of the head. I'm not sure if there's a problem for McQueen. We're going to find out more about it.
Wow, Lionel, that was a tougher round than the heat. Talk us through it.
They're all pretty darn tough, yes. I'm just trying to pace myself and close really well in the 3rd round, so that's my game plan.
The bike is looking amazing, the run is. What can you do on the swim? What magic can you pull out of the bag?
Unfortunately, nothing more than you've seen.
Listen, you carry on setting up your bike because you don't have an awful lot of time. Just give us your impression of the Arena Games, because this is surely unlike anything you've ever done before.
Indeed, it is. It's a really cool event. It's a lot of fun. And, well, I'm regretting it at the moment, but it's fun after.
You don't look like you're regretting it. Somehow you look incredibly cool. Is this all part of your game plan?
Round 3, I'll dump it all out there, so...
Well, I'm going to let Lionel carry on putting the elastic bands, as we can see, on his shoes. There are just a few seconds left now before the guys go back and hit the water. Good luck, Lionel.
Let's have a look back at the story of the stage, and very fast start from what was a very strong swimming contingent in this one. Nothing between McQueen and Raphael in the yellow and orange, and of course Henry Schoeman as well, who's long been regarded as one of the power swimmers of Olympic distance triathlon and sprint distance triathlon as well. He's turned his hand to a few 70.3s also. McQueen up in the saddle, had an incredibly good bike and set out onto the treadmill, looked very comfortable, and that was until right at the end when Jack Stanton Stock ran a 2:38. So he went past McQueen there. McQueen not sure what had happened, but a 2:38 is 1 second, Tim Don, outside of the record held by Alex Yee.
That's just smoking. I mean, he looks really, really good. He did look good running, but actually to back it up, and he's got a 1 second lead, so still everything to play for. Chase has got to get his head back in the game.
That was done at the end of the stage, because all of the run records are done at the start of this stage. So we're going to see in a minute just how quick Jack Stanton Stock is.
Right, well, that looked fun. Let's make them do it again, but in reverse order. Run, bike, swim. Look for the runners to make time as they start fresh on the treadmill. Well, a bit fresh. It can't be won here, but it can definitely be lost. Every second counts for the Stage 3 pursuit start.
So the top 5 all seconds each other in Stage 1. Now it is time for Stage 2. This is a backwards triathlon. Run, bike, swim. A little shake of the head from McQueen. He is not liking that. He looked down, saw Stanton Stock at the end and thought, this can't be right. So it's about now for McQueen especially to get the head back in the game and focus on what is in front of them. So 30 seconds until we get things underway again. And the race director saying, no more running on the machine. Let's take the legs off. We all start at a standing start. And your leader after Stage 1, Stanton Stock, is 1.8 seconds ahead. We're about to go again for Stage 2. Big push from Stanton Stock. And he's obviously spent time with this before. He's got high turnover, big stride though, and he's really pushing that belt.
He really has got that treadmill up to speed. As he said, he's got a long, powerful stride. He looks really compact the way he's running.
But McQueen running at 21.4 kilometres an hour. He's looking around though and wondering how everyone else is running so quickly.
A bit of a different dynamic to this race. Look at Lionel Sanders, he's really putting in some big effort there. So let's see.
Stanton Stock 2 seconds ahead of everyone after the first 200 metres. Schoeman, Brianne, Raphael, Dixon, Perham and McQueen going backwards. Look at Stanton Stock, he's so far ahead of everybody.
But he's got to be careful here because he's still got a long way to go, and you don't want to burn his matches. In the heats this morning, he really slowed down on that last round, and Lionel came and caught him and actually went past him. So he really, really can't. But his leg turnover looks great. He is clearing out. 5 seconds lead.
That's incredible. 5.8 seconds now. Raphael, Brianne, Perham, McQueen, Vodorentsov, Dixon, Sanders 10 seconds back, and Beaulieu. It's Stanton Stock. He's going for a jog in the park by himself. 7 seconds now.
He just wants to get off and get on that bike. His leg turnover looks phenomenal. He is really, really pulling out the hair, but you can see Henry and Raphael, they are running nicely together. There's a big pack behind them. Lionel's losing a little bit of time, you can see, and so's Chase.
So I've been corrected. The actual record time is 2:34 by Alex Yee last year, and Stanton Stock could be in line for that. 2 minutes gone, 330 metres to go. 7.8 seconds ahead of Schoeman, who's having a good run.
And this is the leg that the fastest run normally, well, has always come from, because they are that little bit fresher. They found that rhythm. He is slowing down now just a little bit. The gap isn't pulling out so much, but he is absolutely looking red hot for this course record.
Yeah, his stride is very long. He's got long legs and he's really suited to the treadmill. 100 seconds to go, 100 metres to go, sorry.
Be interesting to see when he hits the bike what kind of power, because those athletes are still close enough to close it if they're riding up to 6 watts a kilo. He does look good though.
Yeah, he does look good. He hops off, nearly ended up back in the boarding, but in the end it was a great transition. He heads down.
Look at that, clear ground between everyone.
He looks buckled now though. So let's see how he goes on the bike. He gets in pretty good. Schoeman is having a good stage 2 as well. And everyone else heads off. Perham's gone past his bike and had to turn back, so he's lost some time.
It's the second mishap in the heats this morning. He forgot to take his hat and goggles and put them in the box. Fatigue is getting to these athletes now. Small mistakes have been made and it's going to open up the field.
Yeah, I think Perham thought he was off for a swim there. So they continue, first 500 metres down. Stanton Stock's in the yellow numbers. He's 10 seconds to the good now from Schoeman and McQueen, who knows he's going to have another one of those bike legs if he is going to retain or at least swim in stage 3 on equal terms with Stanton Stock.
Stanton Stock looks good on the bike. He's really 5.8 watts per kilo. McQueen is holding him, but he's 10 seconds back with Henry Schumann. Dan Dixon is riding up there as well. And then you see
having a good ride.
You see Lionel at the back, 6 watts a kilo. We'll have to call him Mr. 6 watts.
Vorontsov, only 22 years of age. He finished 9th to get into the heats. Stanton Stock is up in and just absolutely hammering along at 184 beats a minute.
So that time's not coming down. It's hovering around 10 seconds with McQueen and Schumann riding really close together. They've opened up a gap of 6 seconds on the next 2 athletes.
Big difference in cadence too. Look at that, 100. Stanton Stock and more like 60 odd for McQueen, who's overtaken Schoeman now.
There's going to be 6 athletes diving in the water together after this fight, very close. Lionel has moved up into 4th, 6.5 watts. This is where he does his damage. He is really, really good at just grinding away. 400 watts he'll be pushing out and then some.
Jeremy Briand not having the day maybe he would have hoped for. Sitting mid-pack there. Vorontsov's dropped down to 6th, and Raphael's not having an excellent second stage, neither is Dixon. So those two might be looking like they could drop out of contention when it comes to stage 3 on the pursuit start. But this is where races are really made or broken, in the middle of the second stage, and Stanton Stock is now 7.7 seconds off Chase McQueen, who is closing down, and Schoeman's going with McQueen as well. Here comes Sanders. Sanders is going to overtake Henry Schoeman, and you can hear the noise in the crowd as he goes past on the big screens.
This kind of energy from the crowd is only going to lift Lionel. He really, really rises to the occasion. He knows he needs a lead coming off the bike, and he's still got another mile, 1.6 kilometres of cycling to go before he hits the water. That swim is going to be crucial for Lionel. But Stock is still holding them at 6 seconds.
Sanders could completely erase Jack Stanton Stock's lead here. Look at the face on that man, Lionel Sanders. Have you ever seen that type of focus?
I can't look at the screen. I cannot look at that face. He is a man on a mission.
That screen will haunt your dreams.
That'll haunt everyone's
Sanders
dreams.
has taken McQueen. He's now 4.4 seconds off Stanton Stock.
He wants the lead off this bike.
I think he wants another bike record. Up the cobblestones they go, McQueen and Sanders. Stanton Stock 3 seconds now. Can Sanders, Stanton Stock, he's putting
He
in
is
the big
using
ones.
every muscle in his body, Stanton Stock, to stay ahead
Sanders
of
is going to lead off the bike.
He's got that deficit down to 2 seconds, but he's also dragged McQueen and Schumann that little bit closer, and they've got the swim to go. So I think everything's to play for, but McQueen is still looking good here.
Oh, you love to see it.
The pass is going to happen.
1.3 seconds, he's
Here
coming.
we go.
He's coming.
That face says it all, a man on a mission.
Mr. No Limits is coming for Jack Stanton Stock. Half a second now it is, and he's going to pass him. And Lionel Sanders
half a mile. The
is
pass
in the
has
lead.
happened.
Look at that, a cheer goes around the Olympic Stadium here in Montreal. Lionel Sanders has taken the lead in stage 2.
Somewhere he never thought he'd be, and he is just pushing away. He is edging away.
Well, Jack Stanton Stock, hold your head high, because you are having, well, he's in the box seat, isn't he, the young Brit? But there's nothing to be lost by getting overtaken by Sanders, who's now 1.3 seconds, and he's going to get off the bike, and he's going to get into the pool, and he's going to do it first.
What a turnaround. The energy in this arena is just amazing. Lionel Sanders leading into the swim on the second stage of the final. Goggles go on. Chase McQueen, but Stanton Stock is in the position from him.
Well, he ran past his
Chase McQueen has overtaken him as well. Wow.
There was a bit of push and shove between McQueen and Stanton Stock there.
No love lost there.
No, and Stanton Stock, I don't know if he's got his goggles on. He was so quick in transition, putting on the swim cap, that it almost looked like he didn't even have time to put his goggles on. Lionel Sanders has equalled his own bike record with a 5:06.
5:06 in the final, in the middle race. That is unheard of.
That is insane numbers from the Canadian. Stanton Stock, though, back in the lead. McQueen 3 seconds off. Schoeman 4 seconds. Sanders has already given up at least 10 seconds in the first 100 metres or so. And Dixon and Raphael looking to get some time back. Well, the pursuit start numbers are going to look very, very interesting after this.
Lionel Sanders is not losing as much time as I thought. Again, he's really backing his endurance here. He's got 2 swimmers coming up alongside him. Dan Dixon's got no goggles on as well. He'll be looking just to tag on their shoulder for as long as he can. Get that draft, swim close to the lane rope. See Dan Dixon there in the purple coming up to Lionel, and on the right Raphael is now level with Lionel. You can see in the top left of the screen they are pulling away.
Yeah, there's a few athletes out there without their goggles. No time for that. The pace is too hot, and are we going to have a match race and a half in stage 3? Who is going to have any matches left to burn? Because there was 2 seconds between McQueen and Stanton Stock after the first stage. At the moment, it's 6 seconds in the other direction. So McQueen could lead them off, but it's not going to be by much. And Schoeman is having a great swim as well to stay in contention.
The Olympic medalist has got such a high cadence. He is looking so great. You need to touch the wall.
And McQueen touches in 11:19.73, 2 seconds back Schoeman. And Stanton Stock is going to give away the lead going into stage 3. He touches 11 seconds back, so he lost 4 more seconds in that last 50. Raphael had a good swim. Dixon had a reasonable swim as well. He's still in contention.
Lionel Sanders only 20 seconds back. That is a phenomenal swim.
Sanders purely on fumes, and he said he gets better and better like a diesel engine across the course of the stages. Watch him in stage 3 to leave it all out there. McQueen wresting back the initiative from Stanton Stock. He's managed to get himself refocused. as they immediately head back for stage 3. The pain these men are going through is absolutely phenomenal.
Well, I don't know if there's pain, but
Jack, was that all part of the plan? That was a phenomenal stage.
Which bit?
The whole lot of it, apart from the last swim and you forgot your goggles, but I'm guessing you were looking to make time up there.
Well, I wasn't expecting to be first place, if that's what you mean. But without the goggles, yeah, Dan and I came up with that idea, so Dan Dixon. And it clearly paid off a bit with a couple of seconds. I mean, I'm feeling it towards the end of that swim, but we asked the referee beforehand and thought it was a really good idea to save a couple of seconds.
A little bit of argy-bargy there, though, with you and Chase McQueen going to the water. What happened there?
It's just racing. I like the guy. He made us coffee the other day, came round and saved us from the hotel's crap coffee. So it's going well.
Great stuff. Well, a phenomenal performance there from Jack. Good luck for the final round. Okay, I'm here. Oh, Chase, you looked a little bit behind there, and then you caught back and had a phenomenal swim, which we would expect to see. How are you feeling for the last stage?
I mean, Jack's on fire. He's running out of his mind, so all to play for in this last stage. This is where champions are made. I'm blessed.
You are looking awesome. Just one word on Lionel Saunders, though.
Oh, he's a champion, yeah. I mean, to come out here with his heart on his sleeve, I respect it so much. I respect him so much. For any of us to show up at a long-distance race, I mean, we would get our asses crushed. So for him to be in this final, hanging with some of the best fast guys in the world, short course guys in the world, it's amazing.
Great stuff. Good luck for the final stage, Chase.
So McQueen has refocused himself after being surprised by Jack Stantonstock, and Jack also surprised himself on that run, setting a blisteringly fast time to get onto the bike first, and as he said, he wasn't expecting to do that, and he held onto it for most of it. He had the little Dan Dixon face, but I don't know what that face is, but I am scared of it. And he ended up overtaking everyone, Lionel Sanders, which is just one of the great efforts to get back into the water first. To only leak 20 seconds on this field. And there he is with no goggles, as did Dan Dixon. Jack Stantonstock didn't help him towards the end. Chase McQueen fastest of all. And the results of stage 2, McQueen 2 seconds faster than Schoeman, who's having a great return to racing. Jack Stantonstock dropped off towards the end of that swim. Aurelian Raphael did what he does, as did Dan Dixon. Lionel Sanders 21 seconds back. That means he'll start 44 seconds back overall. Chris Perrin made a mistake, cost him some time, from Vitaly Vorontsov, Jeremy Briand and Matthias Beaulieu.
Look at them, they look gassed. Just like we hoped. One stage to go where all the hard work pays off. A pursuit start where time lost to the leader is paid for. From there, first across the line wins and takes the first step to becoming the 2023 Arena Games World Champion.
I'll tell you what, this is why I fly to the other side of the world and to basically the inside of a freezer. It's for stage 3s like this, perfectly set up, some of the greatest short course athletes in the world, head to head, in a full arena, in front of people who are appreciating the quality of the athletes and the ferocity of the competition. Some of the best in the world, some of the rising stars. Jack Stantonstock, one of 8 athletes this weekend who has come through the junior SLT racing and delivered on the big stage, and that is all about providing that pathway for younger athletes to excel, and Chase McQueen is one of them. He will start 7 seconds ahead of Henry Schoeman. Here we go, stage 3 racing here in Montreal. It's always a bit relaxed when there's just one guy heading into the water for 7 seconds. Schoeman in next.
After Schoeman's swim, he'll be looking to have a great one. There's Jack Stanton in there as well.
Then it's 11 seconds back to Aurelien Raphael, who's not used to being in this position, watching people swim away from him. He heads into the water, the Frenchman. 14 years older than Dan Dixon, who heads in next to him. He's got the goggles back on this time, though. Chris Perham is the next to go into the water. I'm sorry, it is in fact Lionel Sanders. And into the water they go.
Chase McQueen here looks nice and smooth. He looks like he's holding great cadence. Henry is just holding him. Jack Stanton is really, really pushing on because he needs to stay with them.
So McQueen turns in a 1:04. It'll be another quick swim time. Anything under 2:10 is elite in Arena Games history. Beautiful pool here, used of course in the 1976 Montreal Olympic Games. Incredible order. It's a beautiful facility, this one, and an honour to have the Super League here as the last man goes into the water. Matthias Beaulieu. As McQueen makes his third turn in a 1:38, he is holding off Schoeman. It started at 2 seconds. It's probably about the same. Sorry, started at 7 seconds, and it's probably a little bit less. 4 seconds, in fact, is the split. Stanton Stock 17 back.
So Jack Stanton Stock's lost 6 seconds to the front of the race there, and even more to Henry. So the fatigue is really in. Maybe those heroics in that first run were really, really taking it out of him. Chase McQueen,
good one though.
Up and gone.
McQueen out, Schoeman out, follows him around to the bike. We are back, of course, to swim, bike, run for stage 3. First across the line, takes the win, takes $5 grand, and books themselves a spot to London for the final. McQueen,
straight up to cadence.
Yeah, hard early. Stanton Stock out of the water now. Raphael out of the water, so he's taken that time out of Stanton Stock. Dixon stayed with Raphael as well. There is the young Brit. Not bad on transition. Already he's got the face on Dan Dixon, hasn't he?
He takes it everywhere with him. You see Chase is really focused. He really, really wants to push hard on here. He needs to distance himself if we have another 6 watt per kilo. Here's the man, Lionel out the water.
The two Canadians with each other, Jeremy Briand as well in the pink ahead of Sanders, who makes the turn. Back onto the bike, doing what he does best. What can he do? He says he gets better and better. Can he beat a 5:06 in stage 3? That would be surely beyond the realms of possibility.
I would not put anything out. And you know what? His transition was one of the best I've seen him do today. Feet were straight in, face is straight up to the power he is putting out.
Look at that, 470 watts. He's gone straight past Briand like Briand was standing still. And McQueen now 7.9 seconds ahead of Schoeman. It's gone out to 8.4.
McQueen really is 7 watts. He's going over the cobbles, the rollers. He's really out the saddle and he's pushing hard here.
This is McQueen's to lose at this point. Schoeman could run McQueen down, but he's seen off the challenge of Stanton Stock. He stayed calm as well, McQueen.
It's the Stanton Stock now. He's really working hard. He's using his whole body, his shoulders to power the legs. Lionel's almost smiling there, that grimace of his.
It's like a rainbow of pain. All the colours and all the different moods.
He did talk before the race about vomiting, but I've yet to see any.
It's funny, I walked backstage about an hour before the race and Lionel was asleep on the floor.
Oh.
I don't know, everyone prepares differently. He was just lying on the floor, completely asleep.
He was catching
in the
some
corner.
zings.
Yeah.
He was mentally going through the race in his head.
Yeah. I dared not disturb him. I just tiptoed past and thought, imagine if he looks at me with that face. I'll never forget it.
McQueen 10 seconds clear now. Stanton Stock a further 17 seconds back. So Schoeman in no man's land.
Dan Dixon and Raphael are closing in on Stanton Stock. This is going to be a fight for that third spot of the podium. They've got just under 2 kilometers to go, so half the bike and the run. Lionel's moving up. He's moved up into 7th, and he's only a second behind 6. He really is doing himself justice here.
First time he has ever taken on any short course racing. And Lionel Sanders, well, he's got 6th in his sights. In fact, he's just about to pass Chris Perham. Raphael is not out of reach, and neither is Dixon. So a top 5 potentially on the horizon for Sanders. McQueen, though, 12 seconds between him and Schoeman, with just 1,600, now 1,300 metres left on the bike. One more time through the park, and then a 1K lap on the run, and we will crown our champion here in Montreal. And what a race it has been. There is your 2 contenders. It's stuck at about 12 seconds between McQueen and Schoeman. Stanton Stock 30 seconds back, Dixon 32, Raphael 34, and Sanders now closing in on Raphael in 6th position.
Henry there went a 2:08 in that swim. That is just phenomenal for the last swim
Wow.
of the day. Lionel Sanders, a 2:25. Dare I say, his
That's his
quickest
best swim.
His last swim is his quickest. That is unheard of in
He
Arena
should have done
Games.
5. We should have 5 rounds.
Do you
We
think
have
we can
5
change
rounds.
it? We can add another round.
We'll just let Lionel go for another couple of rounds while everyone packs up.
You know, he probably would on his own. Put it on his YouTube channel. See there, Henry's focused. He knows he's got a hard task ahead. The way McQueen's been running lately, 12 seconds.
The question is, how much has Schoeman got left in the tank? This is a guy who injured himself during the Tokyo Olympics run. Well, he brought an injury in. He couldn't finish the run. It took 6 months to come back from ankle surgery. And then just before the Super League Triathlon Championship season, like literally a week before, came off the bike, busted his elbow. He's coming back from that, put COVID in the mix. And of course, he was in South Africa, which was a red-carded country, or what, I can't remember. I pushed it into my subconscious, but they couldn't go anywhere. He's had an absolute, no. He's had an absolute disaster of a few years, punctuated by the incredible silver lining of the birth of his daughter, Lilia. But he certainly has the race pace back again. McQueen, though, is 13.5 seconds clear.
He will still be believing that he can chase this down. He knows a smooth transition can take off 2 seconds off McQueen, getting that treadmill up to speed.
And here they go. Yellow versus green. America versus South Africa. McQueen versus Schoeman. 24-year-old versus a 31-year-old. McQueen on the way up. Surely one of the future. Already an Olympic medalist. Already a Commonwealth Games medalist. Stan Stock not looking overly
He does
comfortable.
not look good. He looked like he had a hamstring issue. We'll see as soon as he hits the treadmill. But to start the run in 3rd place is just phenomenal.
1K to go, Jack. Stay with it.
Keep pushing.
Here comes Sanders. 6th position for him. Raphael's on there. Dixon's on there.
Everything to play for that middle, that last spot on the podium.
800 metres to go now. McQueen maintaining that gap. Sanders on the treadmill.
McQueen is holding a 13-second lead. And Jack Stanton Stock 34 seconds behind McQueen as well.
Dixon closing up on Jack Stanton Stock now. He's 37 seconds back. Raphael 39. And Sanders is 50 seconds back. So it's very, very tight for that 3rd position on the podium. McQueen looks solid for the win. Schoeman looks solid for 2nd place. A fantastic effort from both of them. Expect McQueen to be a fixture in Super League Triathlon racing
He had a great series last year, and I think he's come back with that experience, with a whole end-of-season campaign with the Super League Championship Series, a great winter, dropped down from altitude with his partner from Boulder. He is looking very, very well. He looks calm and collective there. Jack Stanton's stock at 190 beats per minute. He is leaving nothing out there. This is a breakthrough race for the young British athlete.
It really is, and he's holding off Dixon, and he's doing it the hard way, but McQueen, I'm particularly impressed with. He got a bit rattled when Jack Stanton's stock went out there and did those times.
It got physical.
A little bit.
It did.
But then he's recalibrated. He's taken a minute, and he's gone about his own job, Chase McQueen, and he's easing off a little bit now. Schoeman's taken 5 seconds out of him in the last 100 metres, but I think McQueen knows that he's got it. Stanton's stock is going to hold off Dixon, it looks like, and Dixon may well hold off Raphael at the back end of this one.
What a finish from McQueen. And Henry, he is inside. Look at McQueen, he is calm, collected. Dan Dixon with another great pain face. Now Stanton's stock. He just does not know where he is. He is in such a great position.
McQueen, though, he knows he's got it.
That's what we like to see.
Meters to go. He's 7 seconds clear, and Chase McQueen will do what his partner Gina Serino did, pick up the $5 grand, pick up the win, and upgrade himself on the flight home.
The double bubble, what a way to finish. He is over the moon. Again, one of the biggest wins he's had of his career. At the start of the season, he knows his winter work has paid off. He'll be excited to go to London to take those extra points with him.
Yeah, it puts his name up alongside people like Alex Yee, Martin Van Riel, Justus Nieschlag, as big names in the world of Arena Games racing. Henry Schoeman comes back 5 years after finishing second in the Championship Series overall to pick up a podium, and a well-fought one as well. And Jack Stanton's stock is going to finish in third. And Lionel Sanders has won so many more fans, if that was even possible, for the effort he has put in to finish in sixth position.
The crowd, they are just amazed by that performance from Lionel. Short course athletes will be looking at Lionel with so much more respect now, as he's come into their arena and he is taking everyone to the cleaners, especially on the bike and the run.
Is there nothing he can't do? We'll go down to Annie Emerson right now, who is with our winner, Chase McQueen.
Congratulations, Chase. How does that feel to be champion here in Montreal?
Oh man, I'm speechless. This crowd is amazing. Montreal's been so good to me. Oh, I got great memories here, and I'm blessed to add another memory. I'm so thankful.
You've had a bit of experience before, briefly in Singapore, but what's it like to race here at the Arena Games? Have you ever raced anything as tough?
The Arena Games is so hard. Brings out the best in everybody, challenges you in ways that other triathlons don't. But how about this camaraderie? The atmosphere in here, it's amazing.
And you were going home with 2 gold medals because, of course, your girlfriend won the women's race. How does that feel?
You know, if I wouldn't have won, I still would have been so grateful. She's such a talent. She works so hard. I'm so proud of her. To do this together, it's a dream.
Looking forward to the next event then.
Yeah, I'll see you guys in London. I'm so excited to finish the series strong, but yeah, it's amazing. I can't wait.
Congratulations. You are the champion here in Montreal. Henry, I've got tears for you. This has been a long, tough comeback. How does it feel to be on the podium, second place here today?
Yeah, it just feels so amazing. I think it's still sinking in a little bit. Big ups to Chase. He was strong all day. I've been chasing him the whole time, and it was a matter of seconds. But yeah, it's been a long road for me to get back to this point, and I'm so happy to begin my year on a podium. The guys were super strong. I'm so impressed with Lionel here in front of his home crowd, and I just look forward to the rest of my season.
Thoughts on Montreal and your second place finish here briefly?
Sorry?
How happy are you to get second place here?
Oh yeah, I'm just ecstatic. The crowd here is so amazing. They've really been pushing us. Like every time they're cheering, I just push more watts, and that's so cool.
Congratulations, Henry. Henry, I've got tears for you. This has been a long, tough comeback. How does it feel to be on the podium? Jack, wow, what can I say? Congratulations, what a race. I think we can safely say you left it all out there.
Yeah, honestly. I've asked for any more. I just wanted to get to the final and see how I could do. And I mean, from the get-go, I felt strong. And I think for me, it was just holding it in there on the bike power. And I managed to hold it a lot more than the heat, and I felt a lot better. And yeah, just in disbelief right now.
What does it feel like to be finishing behind the likes of Chase McQueen and, of course, bronze medalists, Commonwealth Games and bronze medalists from Rio?
Absolutely incredible. Like Henry Schumann, Lionel Sanders, Chase. I mean, Chase I've met this week through Dan. He came and made us coffee, like I said. But those guys are amazing. So, unbelievable.
Congratulations. You are the bronze medalist here in Montreal today. Jack, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Well, out to play and new stars created as well, especially in Jack Stanton's stock, who put down some incredible runs. In stage 3, though, Chase McQueen showed experience beyond his years to come out of the water first, not overdo it too much. He looked pretty deep on the bike, but everybody did. And in the end, it was the American up against the South African. So much experience between them. And yeah, I particularly feel for Henry Schumann, who's been through so much to come back to this point. And very happy for Chase McQueen. I'm going to ask him for one of those coffees I keep hearing about. We'll have a look at the results overall here in Montreal, and in the end it was 7 seconds. It started at 7 seconds at the start of stage 3. It ended at 7 seconds as well. Chase McQueen over Henry Schumann. Jack Stanton's stock looked like he was going to get caught for a second, and in the end it was Aurelian Raphael who took 4th from Dixon, and Lionel Sanders in 6th.
Voici maintenant la cérémonie des médailles pour les finales hommes. Here's the medal presentation for the men's final. Merci d'accueillir nos médaillés. Please welcome the medalists. Les médailles seront présentées par. The medals will be presented by la directrice.
Marie-Eve Sullivan there, the CEO of Triathlon Quebec, is going to hand out the medals to 3 exhausted men, especially Jack Stanton stock, who looks like he cannot believe that he is standing upon a podium at Super League Triathlon Arena Games against men of the quality of Chase McQueen and Henry Schumann, and of course further down the order as well. Congratulations to the young Brit, who we should see on a few more Super League podiums in the coming years.
Deuxième place et remportant la médaille d'argent, représentant l'Afrique du Sud. Second place and winner.
In second position, and as we said, coming off a tough time since about 2019, to be fair, is Henry Schumann, who has shown such patience and diligence to get his body back to the position he needs to be to compete with these men. But no one could stop the man from the Midwest, Chase McQueen, doing the job here. Came in as many people's favourites and delivered when it counted. There will be a few Super League Triathlon Championship Series team managers looking at Arena Games and thinking, who could we draft into the teams for Championship Season 2023, which will start in September, as it does. And there is plenty more racing to go between now and then, and there are your medalists here in Montreal. And each one of them incredibly deserving, and only 2 more weeks until we go again in Switzerland. Smiles all round, champagne showers and celebrations for all of these men. But just to make it to the final here, such as the depth of the men's field particularly, was a feat in itself. They raced this morning too, so there'll be some people sleeping very, very well tonight after having raced twice in one day, 2 stages in the morning, 3 in the afternoon. And perhaps the Queen will sleep better than most. We're going to head down back to the pool deck to Annie Emerson as we begin to wrap it up here in Montreal.
Dan, 4th place. Is that a little bit bittersweet, seeing as your teammate is on the podium?
It definitely is, because I was 5th, not 4th, but yeah. No.
Sorry, 5th, 4th. It's all the same. Once you're past the podium.
No. I mean, I'm really pleased that after struggling with food poisoning earlier in the week, I didn't even think I was going to race. So it's a great start to the season and lovely to be part of this event. I mean, I've been training with Jack here for God knows how long. We've been friends for 10 years or so. So it's great to see him doing so well. And yeah, looking forward to plenty more training with him over the next few weeks.
Talk us through this whole thing. It is crazy what we've seen from Lionel Sanders as well today.
Yeah.
I mean, how deep does that guy go?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, everyone's been talking about Lionel. I think most of us thought that we would put him away, but he's, yeah, it's bloody impressive, man. I mean, he is a bit of a Zwift monster, but to be able to catch up a deficit that he's losing in the swim as much as he is, and get like, what, 6th place or something, it's bloody impressive when the guy focuses on Ironman. So yeah, it's quite cool for a lot of us to race him as well, because obviously a lot of us will have watched him on YouTube growing up and all that. So yeah.
I'm going to go and let you rehydrate and all the rest of it, because I know you've got lots of big races coming up, but congratulations for finishing 5th here today, Dan.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right, well, right here on the side of pool deck, we've got the man who has been followed by an absolute phalanx of media. I just wanted to use the word phalanx, to be honest. Lionel Sanders, mate, you scared us through the screen. The amount of focus on your face during that bike in particular, you just kept getting better and better.
It was a lot of fun, man. I'm just grateful to have been invited to come out and participate with these great athletes, and they showed me what real top-end speed looks like. You know what? I really, my only goal was to make the final, so I completely transcended all of my goals, and I did that, and it was a great event.
And I think there we saw when in that second round, when you hit the swim first, what did that feel like? Smile says it all.
Yeah, that was amazing. I mean, my favorite sport is MMA, and I think that's the closest I'll ever get to the feeling, I would imagine, of walking out to the cage for a pay-per-view event. So.
Unless you come back to London.
Yeah, well,
it's too early.
I don't know.
The pain's still fresh.
Yeah, I'm still shaking a little bit, so ask me in a little while.
Do you really bring that kind of UFC vibe to this? I saw on social media you were cutting weight yesterday. You lost like 3.5 kilograms. You walked past and you looked like you're on the way to the cafe and you were just like, hey, man. So, like, I mean, you're known for taking things to the nth degree, and you did that in this instance.
I figured I would soak this in. I didn't know if I'd be invited back, so I figured I would soak this in from every way I could. And part of a weight-based sport is cutting weight. I mean, anyone who does wrestling, any form of a weight-based sport has to cut weight. And so I didn't push the limits. If I did go to London, which I probably won't, because I won't.
Probably. See, that's not a no.
I
Definitely not a no.
Definitely not a true invite. But if I did go to London, I would push it even further, just for fun, just to see what happens. So
you would have an incredible reception there. I mean, was it any different, this entire experience, to what you anticipated? Obviously, you would have watched some before. Now that you've experienced, looking back on it, is it any different to what you thought it would be?
I mean, it was grand. It was grander, I don't know if that's a word, than I had imagined. So, the only thing that would add to it is if we could do our walkout songs next time, our favorite song.
What would you choose?
Walkout? Oh, you got to put me on the spot like that. I don't know. I wrestled a bear once. The Cat's Pajamas, like a death metal song or something. That's what I would choose.
You're scary enough without that. What do you think, Tim?
And I think, you've come here every round. You look like your transitions were getting smoother. You were learning a lot. Are you going to take that across to the rest of the season going forward?
I got a lot from this race, for sure. And the big thing is those brick workouts. I did one on Tuesday, and then, of course, this. So I've done 10 rounds now in 5 days. And I feel like a way more competent swimmer. Like the gun goes, I feel more confident to take it out. The transitions, taking it out hard on the bike. I think that's all important where the sport is going. These are all the guys who are coming up to middle and long distance, and they're dominating our sport. So I think you have to evolve, and that's why I'm here.
Well, Lionel, it's been an honour to have you here. Not only that, finishing in 6th position, you might actually qualify for London. Yeah, it's possible that you do, depending on what happens.
Cool. Now I just need to get my 200 time 30 seconds quicker. I don't know if I have enough time, though, unfortunately.
Well, it's been great having you here. Congratulations on your 6th position. We're going to head now to Annie, who's with Sophie Lynn.
Oh, Sophie, you've had time to breathe now. That was a brilliant result. Was it the result that you came here for, or did you think you could sneak in a little win?
Yeah, I'm super happy with the result. Like, obviously, the goal of the day is to take that top step, but Gina had a fantastic race and she deserved every bit of that. So, like, I can't be disappointed. I put it all out there.
We've talked in commentary about the fact that you guys obviously know one another very well from having been at University of Michigan together. What's it like racing? Is it good camaraderie? Is it competitive? What's it like?
Oh, Gina and I have been great friends for a long time, so I'm super happy for her successes, and I'm sure she feels the same about mine. So, yeah, we're very good friends.
Listen, you had some great results last year. You got 3rd in Commonwealth Games. You got 5th overall. It was a really breakthrough season, but this is totally different. Talk us through Arena Games and your first experience.
Yeah, last year was fantastic. This is probably, honestly, the most I've hurt, maybe ever in a race. Arena Games is just a completely different beast, and it's just you and your power and, you know, your pace. It's absolutely phenomenal, and I think it's something that I'm really excited to see be a bigger part of World Triathlon in the future.
Okay, so you've had time to reflect, you've had time to breathe. How much do you want to come back and race again?
I'm like right on the fence of I never want to do this ever again, and oh, maybe I like this. Maybe give it a day and I want to come back. It still burns right now.
What was the worst part of this race today?
I think that I can speak for all of the athletes and say the round 2 swim, you feel like you are drowning. So yeah, I think that everyone finds that probably the hardest leg.
You know what, Sophie, you didn't look like you were drowning at all. You look absolutely brilliant. Congratulations on finishing 2nd here today, and we really do look forward to seeing you racing again on the Arena Games.
We're over here. Yep, we're over here on this side. Oh, they can't see us. Here we are. We're just over here hiding in the corner because I need to get as far away from Lionel as I possibly can. He's got too much masculine energy just pouring out of him. Let's go back and talk about that women's race. And obviously, Sophie Lynn pushed all the way, but she couldn't quite do it. Gina Serino was just supreme.
She just had a balanced race. I felt she paced herself so well, and I think across all 3 races there was 6 seconds difference from the 1st, 2nd and 3rd in the final. So she came here with a plan and she executed it really well.
And he's just sidled in here for a little bit more screen time. Great job out there. It's obviously very tough to do. And it's like when you ask the 3rd and the 4th question, I'm thinking, gee, they're going to tell you to go away now, but you just keep going at it. But we're just talking about how good Gina Serino was. Obviously, her and Chase doing the job. They've obviously been training incredibly well, and she's really laid a marker down for what happens next in a fortnight's time in Switzerland.
Yeah, she's a huge talent. Look, she genuinely is. She knows the weaknesses in the swim, but I guess how she dominates on the bike and the run is going to really see her, I think, do really well in the overall series.
Absolutely, but we've seen that you don't need to have an epic swim anymore to be able to compete in this if you can lay down the numbers when you get into the virtual world of Zwift. In the men's race, did it happen any differently to what you expected? I thought I would see Aurelian Raphael do a little bit better. He was a little bit off the pace.
He said on the bike, I did not have the power, Tim. I did not have the power today. And that was clearly...
I can understand that.
That is clearly what happened. But we saw breakthrough athletes. I mean, we can come back to Lionel, but Jack Stanton's stop. I mean, the way he took that run out and then he backed it up with his bike as well. And you could see he was giving it everything. The Arena Games is about the future. It's about the talent, and he is one to watch. He really is.
Yeah, we talk about the fact that, you know, a guy like Jack Stanton's not comes through. He's one of 8 people that competed today that compete in our junior races in Jersey and the other junior races we have around the Championship Series. So the pathway is real. Like, you can go in a junior race and then 2 or 3 years later you can find yourself racing in front of 2 million people in an arena like this.
I think that's the great thing, that these athletes have had the experience. Without that experience, I mean, it's quite obvious, but they've gained the confidence to know that they can do it. So when they come here to the real centre stage, they're sort of prepared for it, so to speak, not just physically, but mentally, which is really important when it comes to sport.
How about the list in Switzerland? Not only is it's full, there's 30 people at least on the men's and women's start list, on the wait list to try to get in. We've got names like Justus Nieschlag. We've got names like Johnny Brownlee in the men's. We're going to see how fast these guys actually were, because it's a level playing field between both.
And every year the level playing field gets higher and higher. So I've got no doubt in Switzerland they're going to be looking at these, they're going to be doing their analysing, they're going to be watching things. No goggles, we have not seen that before. And it worked. And they did check, they did everything right. So I think we're going to see, and it's all going to come down to the final.
It is all going to come down to the final as it does, and then we're going to see who makes that start list in London in 1 month's time. If you enjoyed this, do not miss Sursee. It is in 2 weeks' time. Annie, thank you so much. Tim, thank you so much. We hope you've enjoyed this telecast of Arena Games Triathlon. We'll see you in a fortnight.